What's up, guys? My name is Zack, and today I am driving a 2006 Jaguar X-Type Wagon. Up front is a 3.0 liter V6, and down below is a 5-speed automatic transmission. Now, I am super excited to be driving this Jaguar X-Type Wagon because it's a wagon. I've only seen a handful of these in my entire life. And so to be driving one is super special, but this one is incredibly clean, very well kept, just a touch over 50,000 miles, which is an absolute museum piece, and I'm excited to share all of its glory with you today. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. But let's get back to that 3-liter V6 under the hood. Well, it is a pretty run-of-the-mill engine. It's not really anything too special, and it makes 227 horsepower. Again, that's not a really flashy number or anything that you'd probably hang up on your wall, but it's a solid engine, and it's a solid number. Like I said, paired to it is a 5-speed automatic. Now, other X-Types later came with 6 speeds, and some came in manual, but this one is the 5-speed auto, and I've seen online, I've read articles saying that these transmissions can sometimes be problematic. The current owner hasn't had any issues, so knock on wood. Last but not least, something that I did not know is that these X-Type wagons are all-wheel drive. So an all-wheel drive 6-cylinder wagon, not that common, and definitely cool to see. How does it feel to drive the X-Type wagon? Well, it drives like a normal X-Type from the era, so I'm not blown away in that regard. However, it definitely is a more comfortable experience than sporty experience. You might think Jaguar and you might think blood pumping cats, but this is a lot more relaxed. It's a lot less in your face. And so on a day like today, it's raining, I just want some chicken noodle soup and a sandwich. I really enjoy this driving experience. It's calm, it's refined, and everything in here we'll talk about in a second really reinforces that idea, which I'm very happy to see. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about this very well-kept interior. Well, in front of me, I have 4 gauges. Off to the left is my coolant temperature and tachometer, and off to the right is my speedometer and fuel, and of course the digital odometer displaying that beautiful 50,000 miles. On the steering wheel on the left, we have scroll wheels for the volume and skip track. Don't often see scroll wheels on steering wheels. Voice commands and source, and off to the right we have our cruise control options. The overall steering wheel is really nice. We have wood accents up at the top and bottom, and of course that nice Jaguar logo right in the center. Off to the left we do have a climate control vent, headlight switches with the fog light switch built in, gauge dimmer switch, and then a couple of different settings buttons for trip A and B, reset, and then mileage/kilometers. Moving on to the door, we have a little latch to get in and out with an integrated speaker, power mirrors, and power windows. Moving into the center, 2 climate control vents, our heated seat options along with the hazard switch, lovely to see that. And then our climate controls up top, we do have a digital readout for the climate controls. I really like that. Single zone climate, it's 2006, not really too worried about that. But the fan speed is almost the same dial as the volume, which kind of mixes up in my head, but overall I like the look. And down below we have a number pad, mute, repeat, and our radio options. Of course, we do have a CD player, AM and FM, things of that sort. We do have a cigarette lighter and ashtray, and then we have the shifter. The shifters in this era of Jaguars have always sort of perplexed me, because off to the right is the normal shift pattern, but then if you bring it off to the left, you can actually ratchet through the gears yourself. It's a very odd looking shifter, but it does the job, and I'm happy to see it here. Then moving into the center, we have the handbrake and the cup holders, so we will do a big friggin' bottle test here in the X-Type wagon, and it fails the big friggin' bottle test. I did not expect it to pass, but you still gotta test it nevertheless. Then we do get a little center console. That is a dual opening center console, so you can open up just the little top part or the larger lower part, which is a cool feature. And then we'll talk about the seats. The seats are heated and power, and the heated seats are really putting in work for being 18 years old. These seats still burn pretty hot, and that is very lovely for me. I love my heated seats. But speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2006 Jaguar X-Type wagon, and a couple of things to note. First of all, the knee room is pretty good. However, my seat is moved up a little bit closer than what my normal driving position would be. So consider that. But headroom is great. And it even has this little bump right here. It's probably hard to see on camera, but it actually goes higher above the back row's heads, where it's a little bit lower right here, to really maximize that headspace. And I am very, very comfortable sitting back here. If I sat up straight, I'm 5'11". You know, I still have room above me. 6'2", 6'3", I think you're gonna be okay back here. And I do have an ashtray. I get a center console with 2 cup holders. Very, very cool to see that stuff back here, but just really, really nice to be in the back of not only a Jaguar X-Type, but the wagon, because it has that longer roof line. Very, very cool to see. And of course, we have the beautiful leather back here as well. Very, very well kept. Love to see that. Speaking of space and wagonness, however, let's hop into the very back and take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, so we're on the back of the X-Type wagon, and this has one of my favorite features that any wagon can have, and that is glass that opens on its own. Absolutely love this feature. Makes it really easy to get things out without them spilling out onto the road or anything like that. Close that up, come down here, button right there in the center, and now the full tailgate is open. Absolutely love to see that. We do have some storage off to the left here. We have a big privacy cover we can pull out. Very, very cool. And of course, you get tons of storage space. That's the lovely thing about a wagon, is that it opens up so many other options for storage. Pop this up here. We have some even more storage down here and a 12-volt outlet. Very interesting placement for it. I assume that's for like a tire inflator, but I would want that in a more prominent spot. But here it is, tucked way down below is a 12-volt outlet. Very, very cool to see all of that. And that is what the trunk space of an X-Type wagon looks like, in case you've ever been curious. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and it's obviously one of the most captivating parts of the X-Type wagon, because everyone's seen the front end of these things. And you might say, oh, you know, it's a Jaguar, it's fine. But then when you come around the back, you're like, oh, this is different. And that's the really cool thing. Now, the taillights do kind of remind me of Mexican market Dodge Ram Charger taillights, but that's neither here nor there. According to what I was able to find online, in order to make this car into a wagon from the sedan counterpart, Jaguar had to change 420 parts and modify 58 part stampings in order to make this vehicle what it is. So that is super, super cool. However, with all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving this Jaguar X-Type wagon? Well, it's incredibly cool and incredibly well kept. That is what really drew me to this car. But it's also super quirky and weird. We did not get a whole lot of these here in the United States for 2 reasons. First of all, station wagons have never really been our cup of tea. They've always existed, and Subaru seems to sell them pretty well. But other brands always seem to struggle in making some type of wagon. So a Jaguar, a brand that already isn't super common here in the US, making a wagon, well, that's even going to be more rare. But getting into this wagon specifically, it was a 2-owner vehicle out in Colorado, which actually the first 2 owners were father and son. It was meticulously well kept and well preserved because these cars aren't getting any more popular. You can find them for relatively affordable prices on the secondhand market when they do come up. But that's the big thing, when they come up, because it's not often. I think as a classy luxury wagon, I think it does everything really well. Does that engine shock me and send me back into my seat? No. It's only 227 horsepower. It's nothing crazy. But I love the wood accents in here. I like the nice taut leather. I think for 2006, the technology is pretty good. Again, you have to remember this was 18 years ago, so I'm not going to scream about lack of Apple CarPlay, because that would be ridiculous. But here it is, a Jaguar X-Type wagon. Something that I've never said before here on the channel or shown off. And I hope that you enjoy these beauty shots of taking a look at something that you just don't see much of. And so, one of my favorite things to do on this channel is to take off my car review hat and not to be critical, and pick up my museum curation hat and enjoy this piece for what it means in automotive history. So enjoy this X-Type wagon. I know I most certainly did. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Rex for letting me take out his X-Type wagon. Rex is fantastic, so great to work with, and he also loves the kooky and the weird cars, much like I do. He's great. He also started the Chi-Town Exotics group, so please go check out that stuff. That'll be linked in the description below. If you're in the Chicagoland area and have interest in higher-end cars, shows, events, and things like that, definitely please go check them out. They're the best. I can't say enough good things. If I kept going on and on, this video would be 18 hours long, but huge thank you to Rex. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Stay dry, guys.